Hello, welcome back to my channel. I thought I would do like an update video on both myself and my health, where I've been, why I do my makeup. I actually sit down, I already have my primer on, but I sit down to do my makeup and I realized I just took my pain medicine, and when I take my pain medicine I have to eat, otherwise it makes me so sick to my stomach. So I had to stop, go eat. And I'm not going to tell you all the products I'm using. I'm just sitting here chatting and that kind of thing. So for an update, I've been crafting a little bit, making some cards and such, but not a whole lot. We are going to Scrapbook Expo for the first time this weekend. I think we're going to go on Friday. Greg's going with me. And it's the first time I've ever been, so I'm kind of excited. And but about a month ago, month and a half, I think I told you that I had a bleeding ulcer. I have a lot of stress. My sister is going through chemo. She has stage 3 multiple myeloma. And so I had an endoscopy and they discovered I had a bleeding ulcer, which they had to clip it off to try and get the bleeding to stop. Well, they did follow-up endoscopy last week very quickly because I have to have another surgery, and they wanted to do this surgery first to make sure that ulcer had stopped, because they have to put me on blood thinners for my next surgery. So so the bleeding has stopped. She said the clip is still there. That I guess it will fall off. I'm not sure what goes on with that. I was so out of it. You know, you wake up from surgery and you don't really remember everything they tell you. But so the bleeding has stopped. So then I went to my heart doctor. And if you've been following along, you know I have had several episodes of AFib, which is where my heart misfires and it like races. Sometimes I can feel those palpitations, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll have an episode where if I stand up, and I'm in AFib, I get like really dizzy and out of breath, short of breath. Well, we've kind of got it under control, but they had to put me on 3 different heart medications. And most recently, you know, I went off of some of my mental health meds, trying to get everything stable, but be on the least amount of medications that I have to be on. And so I asked him, because I kind of researched it, about a heart ablation, where they can go in and either freeze or burn those little circuits, so to speak, that cause the AFib. And a lot of times you can go off your medicine, if not all of it, most of it. Because I take a lot of medication and I don't want to. So he said, yeah, I'm a great candidate for the heart ablation, but I had to be put on blood thinners for that, to be able to have that heart ablation. And it's actually, they put you out for it, but it's done like in the heart cath lab, because they use a catheter and go up through your groin and go up to your heart and then either burn or freeze whatever is necessary, those little circuits. And he did say that sometimes people have to have it more than once, people my age. So that may be a possibility of me having to have it more than once. And then after you, I mean, it's kind of like I'll be overnight in the hospital for that. And then you have to, like, it's like 10 days. You really can't do a whole lot. You have to just rest. My plan is to go back to Indiana this summer, hopefully. And he said I could not do that for 2 to 4 weeks after I have surgery. So, you know, it's kind of a big surgery. So I will have that on June 18th. I have a lot of, like, I had to have a CT scan with contrast to check my groin area and all the things to make sure that I'm okay to have this surgery in the first place. I don't have the results from that yet either, but and then I have a lot of pre-op appointments. I went to my primary doctor and we kind of went over everything that I had concerns about or questions about, and I have a couple of cysts in the bottom of my hand. One is here. Sometimes they flare up, sometimes they're not there. I think there's 2. They're very painful, especially when I drive and I have to put my hand on the steering wheel. So she referred me to a plastic surgeon who will help take care of that. And I meet with the plastic surgeon on June 6th, I believe. So those are the kind of surgeries that I'm getting ready to have. Nothing new for me. Kind of always something. But so that's what's going on with me. But hopefully after I have the heart ablation, I can go home to Indiana to be with my sister. Because we had an appointment scheduled for today where I would be on Facebook or FaceTime with her while she met with the with her oncologist and the nurse practitioner oncologist. So she just finished the 3rd round of chemotherapy. Last week they did another bone marrow biopsy, and they called the day before yesterday and said that we don't need to have our meeting today. And she's like, oh, okay, what's that about? She said, because right now there is no evidence of disease in my sister after they did the bone marrow biopsy. Now, she is not in remission. She is not out of the woods. She is simply, it means that the chemotherapy that they did, the treatment that they did, worked to but to get rid of the cells that make up the multiple myeloma. They're monoclonal cells. And so she still has to have the stem cell transplant, but she has none of the nasty cells right now. So they really want to do the stem cell transplant pretty quickly since she doesn't have any of the nasty cells in her system. But they can't get her in until June 25th. So they called back today, and Megan, the nurse practitioner oncology, said that they want to continue doing the chemo shots on Tuesdays and Fridays until she meets with the doctor on June 25th about the stem cell transplant. And the reason being is they don't want those cells, those nasty cells, the bad ones, to come back, those stem cells, and invade her system again. They want to keep those at bay, which I was very glad for. I have researched it and done my own work, and that was my question. Those cells are going to come back before she has the stem cell transplant. So, she's going to continue having the chemo shots until she meets with them in June. Then they will start the process of the stem cell transplant, which she will be in the hospital at least 3 to 4 weeks, possibly more. And it'll probably make her pretty sick. So that's where she needs to be while this goes on. But it's a good thing that right now there's no evidence of disease. So that is kind of where we're at. I am going to, on this video, share all of the PayPal, GoFundMe, Cash App, all that information, because my sister has gone back to work a couple days a week. She's still waiting on her disability. She still shouldn't be working. But in order to pay her bills, and she doesn't have a lot. She has a car payment, she has a car insurance, and she has a cell phone. I've been helping as much as I can, put gas in her car, pay her car insurance. I'm also low income and on disability myself. So, but she has zero income. I did get her hooked up with food stamps. I also helped her get a couple of grants to pay a car payment and to pay part of her car insurance, and then I paid the rest. So we did that, but now we have to get her through, and she will be in the hospital at least 3 to 4 weeks. That's if everything goes perfectly. It could be longer than that. And so I'm sharing all that. If anybody can donate, please do. Several of you have already donated, and please don't donate again. I'm just putting it out there. Nobody has to donate. Share this. Just get the word around, and you never know who will donate. Now, I will say, and this is new, because I've been having to help my sister financially, I haven't been able to save for a plane ticket. So, if anybody has any flyer miles that they would love to donate to me, transfer to me so that I can fly home and back this summer, I would greatly appreciate that. That can cut down the cost of a plane ticket very much. And I know I always flew Southwest because you didn't have to pay to check your bags. You got 2 bags checked for free. Well, now they've changed that. You have to pay to check your bags. So flying is more expensive. Plus, I have to take my dog. That's $150 each way. So, if anybody has frequent flyer miles, even that would help. I'm looking in my camera to see if I have my blush right. But, so that's the update on all that. So I will share everything down below if anybody wants to donate or send over frequent flyer miles. That would be greatly appreciated. But that's just kind of the update. I still haven't felt like crafting much. I haven't entered any like challenges or swaps really. I'm doing a swap later this summer with my friend Carrie. Um, I've been growing my TikTok and my lemonade. And that's just kind of what I've been doing. I've been reading a lot. A lot. Like, I got a Kindle for Christmas, and I've been reading a lot. So that is nice. Just to relax and read. And plus, I've had tons of doctor's appointments. We have some family issues going on with my other little sister, and that's been extremely difficult. I can't even, I'm not going to throw her under the bus. I'm not going to throw her under the bus, so I'm not going to talk about it, but it's been a whole thing. And even if I told you the stuff that's been going on, you wouldn't believe me, because it's so messed up. Messed up for family to act this way or do this. But whatever. I just know today, I know that I'm in control of how I let people treat me, and I don't have to accept other people's behavior. I don't anymore, and I always have. Where is my other little? So I'm super excited to go to Scrapbook Expo. Already got our tickets. I bought them in advance so that we could not back out. So super excited to do that. You'll see me making all kinds of faces with my mouth, because when I do my eyes, I really can't talk. And they're all over the place. But you'll have to let me know down below in the comments, what have you been up to? I know my friend Carrie hasn't been on here very much. I haven't watched even hardly any YouTubes. I've been reading. Some days I don't do anything but get a shower, make some lunch or something, and read all day. And it's nice not to have to stress out, because I've had so many things on my mind with family and stuff. My sister's cancer. So it's nice just to let that go, kind of lose yourself in a book. I'm still working on my little table that I am redoing. So I just work on it as I feel like it. And some days I don't feel like it. So it's a little slow process. Have you been reading? If you have, let me know what you've been reading. I did finish reading the book. I've had a couple authors contact me, and so I read their books and reviewed them. But I read the book, The Last Letter. Can't remember who wrote it. But it is such a good book. But it will tear your heart up. Yeah, it will tear your heart up. But don't let that deter you from reading it, because I know some people do. It's such a good book. The Last Letter. And I like contemporary drama novels. So I don't mind a good cry with the book. I have a Kindle stand that I use when I'm in bed, and I just use my remote control page turner, and I've been sleeping so much better by doing that. I didn't know it would affect my sleep, but I relax more, and I don't have to hold a book or put a book up before I can go to sleep or any of that. If I drop my page turner in the bed, so be it. My phone or my Kindle shuts off on its own, so I just relax and sleep better. So I have to let that dry. But that's just what I've been up to. Let me know down below in the comments. I did found out on TikTok, I think it was, that there are these little libraries, free libraries that you can get on an app. I'm using my phone, otherwise I'd look at the app. But it's a little free library. People put them up outside their homes, and they register them so that you go on this app, you can find the little free libraries, you can take books and put them in, and then you can get books out to read. Yesterday I was brave enough, I went by myself and went to a couple of those free libraries, and there are so many, especially in California, and you can find all kinds of books and get them to read. So I did that, and I did a little thrifting yesterday. Got a couple books there at the thrift store, and normally I'm just a homebody, and then yesterday I just kind of wanted to get out of my comfort zone and just do a little thrifting. I went to a new thrift store. It's called Hospice Thrift Shops. I'd never been to one of those before, and they put the Goodwill to shame. They have everything that the Goodwill has, but their prices are spot on. And like, I got a lamp, this lamp right back here. I picked it up for $9 because my other lamp that was there broke. So I picked up that lamp, and on the side of it, it was $9, and it said it had been tested. When you go into the Goodwill, you don't know if they've been tested. And they don't usually have a light bulb in them. So, I can't really talk while I do my eyeliner, so let me do it real quick. So yeah, that's just kind of what I've been up to. I was just super, super excited, but even more excited today when my sister called me back and said that the nurse practitioner had called her and said, you know, they still wanted to keep doing the chemo shots, because I was concerned how they were going to keep the chemo or keep the cancer cells away until she met with the stem cell doctor. So I guess they know what they're doing. I don't need to call them and tell them like I would, but when I call or I have a question for them, they don't like to talk to me. Because my little sister has kind of made that relationship bad. That's part of our issue. But, even though I'm on her privacy form, they'd rather go through the patient. But I would never call them, tell them what to do. I would just call and ask what they're going to do. Okay, I just need, excuse me, I need a little bit of mascara. And that is how I put my face on. Last week I had a sty in my left eye. It's much better. I went probably 4 or 5 days without makeup. I don't like to. I like to get up and get dressed every day and get ready. But that eye really healed up faster when I stopped putting makeup on. I can't talk when I'm doing mascara either, as you can see. Otherwise I will put myself straight in the eye. With the wand. And how do I know this? Because I've done it. But, ta-da! That's my get ready with me this morning. Got a little top on from, I got navy blue leggings on and this little top from Temu. Sometimes I'll steal a drink of Greg's Monster because I can't have it with all my heart issues. But I will put all the links down below for anyone that wants to donate. I'll put my email, my cell phone. Contact me if you have frequent flyer miles and want to donate them. Then I can get I'm going to figure out how to get a plane ticket anyways, but if I can get it cheaper, that would be great. But yeah, I don't want my sister working, so any way that we can help her. I had $50 in donations yesterday, so that is coming, and we're putting that back for her car insurance. I told her I would send her some gas money. So she just needs help because I don't want her working. She's too tired. Her bones are still very bad. They still have the holes in them. She still has a fracture. So, none of that that will take time to heal. But yeah, that's the update. I'll have surgery on June 18th. And, I have to go to the dentist on May 31st. Get a filling. And I don't like the dentist at all. So, I even had a hot dentist once, and he was great. He was a great dentist. He was hot, he's cute, but I couldn't even get excited about going that day because I don't like the dentist. I don't like to have dental work done. It makes me very anxious. So, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Let me know what you've been reading, what you've been up to. And I'll be back soon with another crafty, planner, or beauty video.